Hey guys, the wonderful Mr. Woods here, bringing you some Graves ADC League of Legends commentary. This is from a game I played yesterday, and one of the things I wanted to highlight is the Graves versus Vayne matchup. So in this game, I'm playing against a Vayne ADC, and they have a Zyra support, and I have a Leona support, and in Season 4, I think Leona is going to be really strong. She's going to be one of the better supports because the way they changed her kit, they made her a lot more tanky. So she's going to be able to engage quite easily. She's still going to be a little weaker on in the early levels, but having that gold and being able to build those tanky items, she's going to be very useful in the late game, even the mid game. So here we're just coming over here to guard the red, because our jungler asked very nicely if we would come over and guard the red, Shyvana. So we're just going to chill out here until about 140, make sure they're not invading. They could be coming through the try, but this is really all we can do at this point. But the reason I wanted to highlight the Graves versus Vayne matchup is I think people underestimate how strong Graves can be, and I don't see him played all that often anymore. But against Vayne, I think he's a perfect pick because Vayne needs to be at a short range to get off her auto attacks, and she needs 3 auto attacks to get her stacks of silver bolts in order to get that extra damage. And the reason Graves is so great is because he can get his damage off really quickly, use all of his abilities, and get out before Vayne is able to get all 3 stacks of her silver bolts. So right here, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to push the lane up, and I think we do see Riven coming, so we're gonna back off. And she's trying to meet Shyvana at the red, so we're gonna try to go help. And I think unfortunately, Shyvana, I don't know if she dies or. No, she doesn't die. She backs off, and Riven flashes. So I decide rather than chase, I'm just going to go back to the lane because, I don't want Vayne to get a lead. I don't want her to catch back up in CS. And as you can see right now, she only has 3 CS. So now what I'm going to try to do is Graves against Vayne is I'm going to try to push the lane. And the reason I'm going to do that is because Vayne, unless you're double lift, you're going to have a hard time as Vayne last sitting under the tower. Most Vaynes do. And Graves, it's a little bit easier for him because he has all of his abilities. They're going to deal out pretty big amount of damage, so he can clear waves pretty quickly. And there my Leona tried to engage, and she missed. So, and I'm just going to be looking out for those roots from Zyra, because she will be trying to put those out to lock me down so Vayne can do some damage to me, but I think I'm going to dodge a majority of them this game. So I'm just going to keep auto-attacking. The one thing I'm not going to do, and here Leona does get a nice engage off, I'm able to use all my abilities and Vayne flashes out. I don't know if that was completely necessary. I think she would have gotten out just fine, but she decided to play it safe and flash. So anytime Leona engages, Leona is actually a perfect support for Graves because she locks them down, she stuns them, and even when she doesn't have her ultimate, Graves can usually get off all of his abilities before her stun and her lockdown is over. So here we go, we're just pushing up to the tower, making it a lot harder, making Vayne's life pretty much miserable. So she's trying to last hit, and obviously you can see she's having a hard time of it. I don't think she got any of those minions out of all that whole wave. So that's exactly the reason I'm gonna push this up. And we are trying to keep a lookout for Riven, because we do know, being this far pushed up, she probably will come eventually. She already tried to come once early, so, or I guess maybe she was just going for the red at that point. But and here she comes, and Leona does have it warded, so we're just gonna back off. Not much we can do. And okay, so Riven takes off. We see her walk away, so we're gonna kind of hang back just a little bit just to make sure we're okay. And then we're going to try to keep blasting these minions. Zarya does get a nice root off, roots me down, but Vayne is not close enough to follow up. And I can just use my dash to get out, which is really nice. And that's one mechanic that people don't use enough on Graves, I don't think. Because if you do max that second, like I like to, if you're auto attacking the wave, it's up fairly quickly. And if you realize, and okay, here we're gonna go in on, I believe it's Vayne. She pops her barrier. I don't think there's really much I can do. She's a little too far away, and I don't have my ultimate yet. So we're just gonna force her back. And you always want to keep that pressure. If you keep Vayne low, she's gonna be afraid to come up and last hit. So that's really, I wanted to deny Vayne as much as possible, because I think everyone knows if Vayne gets any CS at all, she scales really, really hard into late game. So if I deny her as much as humanly possible, and keep her low CS, low items, and no kills, then she's going to be rendered pretty much ineffective. I think she might end up getting just a Blade of the Ruined King before this game is over, but if I can keep her to just that, I'll be really happy. So here we come in. I burst down Zyra. I don't get the kill because she flashes out, which is fine. She just burned her flash, so that's just another advantage I have in lane. And as you can see, I'm level 5 right now. Vayne's 4. Leona getting another nice Zenith Blade off, I believe. And so Season 4, I think, is going to be the season of the support. And as you can see right now, Leona has really helped me win this lane. If she wouldn't have gotten a lot of those good stuns off and lockdowns off, it would have been really hard for me to do it as well as I've done right now, because we've effectively been able to zone out Vayne. She hasn't been able to do anything. She hasn't really been able to CS that well. And right there you see the new item. I believe that's Runic Shield. Leona can last hit for me if she doesn't think I can get one of the CS, and I will get the gold. So that's a really nice new thing they've added, a little extra way for supports to get more gold. And right here I'm using the scanning trinket because I saw them put down a ward right there, and I'm just going to take the ward out. So any advantages that I have, I want to press those advantages, and I want to get more advantages. So I'm going to take out their vision, I'm going to press them to their tower, and I'm just going to make life really difficult for Vayne. I want to harass her. I don't want to harass her unnecessarily, and I'm not going to spam my skills because Graves is sort of mana hungry. He is an AD caster. So, but when I do see an opportunity, I will harass Vayne if I can harass her without. And that's the great thing about Graves, is most of the time you can harass Vayne without taking any damage back. So I think he's a perfect matchup against Vayne. And let's see. So I haven't gone back yet, and I'm just still sitting on my Doran's Blade, the new Doran's Blade, which costs less, and you're able to get a potion. So I think it's a good item for Graves, because he can just, especially against Vayne, if I know I'm not going to be getting harassed that much, what little bit I am getting harassed, I'm able to heal it back up with that lifesteal from the Doran's Blade. And there we go. She misses another root. Leona gets off a great ultimate, stuns, and unfortunately I was not fast enough in following up right there. We probably could have gotten a kill. Leona has to flash out because Vayne tumbled, but because she came back in on such low health, I was able to burst her down really quickly, and I pick up a kill, my first kill of the game. And on top of, I already have a good 61 CS to Vayne's 33. I'm able to go back and I believe pick up a BF sword, which is going to be really helpful. That's going to really increase my trading potential. And I'm able to also pick up a Vampiric Scepter. Another thing I wanted to talk about was the new Trinket system. And what I've seen in almost every single game is everyone buys the warding totem. Now, as an ADC, it's your support's job to ward. And I think that's always been the case. So, in my eyes, it should be your job to de-ward. seeing as you have a free trinket available to you that allows you to de-ward. So if you take that as an ADC, take that warding totem, or that de-warding trinket into lane, anytime you see their support placed on a ward, you go into the bush or go into the river and use your trinket, and you're able to disable that ward. So it's really going to help your support out. It's going to stop them from knowing if ganks are coming. So really, it's an all-around great item. And if all you had was a warding totem, then you'd just be able to place on extra wards. You wouldn't be able to disable their vision. So I think that's much more beneficial in lane, because whatever warding totem, if you bought a warding totem in lane, you're going to have, at the beginning, it's only going to be a 60-second ward, and that's just really not worth it, in my opinion. I think it's much more beneficial to be able to disable their wards. Okay, so as soon as I come back to lane, I'm pushing it up, I see Zed coming, so I'm going to back off. And we see Zed take back off, so... And right there, I mean, that's a perfect example of why warding is so important. I come in here. Now, I was going to use my de-warding trinket, but Vayne decides she's going to go in on me. What she doesn't realize is that she can't trade with me. I'm so much stronger than her, just because of my items. I go back in here, use my trinket, and I'm able to de-ward that. Now here comes Riven, and Shyvana as well. So this is an interesting situation. We decide to back off. Shyvana chases Riven for a little bit, but I think it's a little too dangerous for her to go wandering in the jungle. She doesn't know who's in there. Now she comes in. Unfortunately, you know, I wasn't fast enough to react, so we weren't able to get much off. Neither me nor Leona was able to react fast enough. So we're just going to keep farming. Hope that nothing too exciting happens. Now, see Shyvana came in through the bush here. She leaps on. Now Riven's here, but I use my Q and my ultimate, and I'm able to burst them down very quickly. And that just shows you, just with one item, the BF sword, and, you know, a Vampiric Scepter, Graves is extremely strong. When he gets that BF sword, that's a huge power spike for him, and as well as when he hits 6. He has huge burst potential. So you saw, you know, their health just pretty much evaporated. That's one of the things I love about Graves. If you can get a little bit ahead, your burst is just absolutely crazy. So now that we picked up all 3 of those kills, you know, unfortunately I got one of them, which is fine. Shyvana got one, and Leona got one as well, which, you know, wasn't her fault. She didn't do that on purpose. So now we're just going to back off. Vayne's already back, and for some reason she thinks she can go in on Leona when I'm here. That doesn't... I don't know why that is. But, okay, I thought we were going to go back, but I guess we're going to stick around a little bit longer and just farm it up. ADC life, just farming. And right there, you see, again, Leona was able to get that CS for me, and I still got the gold for it, which is really nice. And here I tell Leona to back off because I want to go back and get my Bloodthirster, and that's a huge power spike for Graves when he gets his Bloodthirster. That's, I mean, the damage from that is pretty hysterical. That's pretty funny. So you can still see CS wise, Vayne is down almost 50 CS at 14 minutes, which, you know, my CS isn't that great, but I was able to zone Vayne away from so much CS that she's, you know, I basically have almost double her CS, so that works out really well for me. She hasn't really been able to buy any items. She's got a Vampiric Scepter, which is basically her only item, and that's going to make her trading potential pretty much garbage. So right there, I just went in, you know, just let her know what's up, put a little damage on her, and since I have a Bloodthirster, I'm able to really quickly heal that right back up. So for me, that's a good trade. Normally, I wouldn't trade, you know, half my health bar for half her health bar, but in this case, I know she only has a Vampiric Scepter and I have a Bloodthirster, so I'm going to be able to heal it up much quicker than she will. So in essence, it's a really good trade for me. As you can see, I'm pretty much back at full health now. She's almost back, and now Leona gets a good ultimate off. I really quickly just try to burst her down, but unfortunately I couldn't kill her. So I flash, get the kill. I see Leona still going for Zyra, so I decided, what the heck, let's go for it, and we end up picking up 2 kills. So great job by Leona. She persisted. She knew we could pick up both kills. She knew how strong I was. So she tanked the tower, and that just goes to show you how tanky Leona is. I mean, she tanked probably 3 or 4 tower shots right there, and she got out just fine, even with getting hit by the Zyra passive, which is true damage. So here I'm just, looking for something to do. I don't necessarily want to leave lane yet, but I feel like we're a little pushed up here, so I don't want to necessarily show. So I'm going to go ahead and go kill the new white camp. It does give me some good gold and some good experience as well. So, and then Riven comes looking for it. It's not there. Sorry, Riven. But we're gonna come through here and hopefully engage on Dragon. I believe that's what we're doing. Yep. And me and Leona are gonna do a 2-man Dragon. And I use my Trinket just to make sure that the Dragon isn't warded. It could be warded in the back, but that's just a risk we're gonna have to take right now. So looking back at this now, I probably could have jumped in here and started tanking for Leona because she's getting really low. But I figured I thought we could finish it before she died, which we did. So that's just another way to press your advantage. And not calling anybody from the other lanes, we were able to make it much less obvious that we were doing Dragon. So no one was able to respond or even knew that we were doing it, especially since they didn't have it warded. And so now I was able to pick up a Zeal and some crit chance, and we're going to run back to lane that much stronger. I like to pick up the Phantom Dancer after the Bloodthirster, because after the Bloodthirster, his auto attacks are very strong, so being able to get more auto attacks off equals more damage. Other people like to go Bloodthirster Infinity Edge, and while I don't disagree with that, I just think for Graves, the Phantom Dancer is a better all-around second item. It just gives him lots of good stuff. I mean, you get ignoring unit collision, you get that crit chance, you get the attack speed, all of which are great on Graves. I don't think Graves relies super heavily on crit. I think just building straight attack damage on him is probably the best option. But the Phantom Dancer does give me some attack speed, and I do like that, so I'm going to go for the Phantom Dancer as my second item. So we're just going to keep pushing up here. We see that, most of the lanes are pushing. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like Singed knows that everyone and their mother is coming for him. But it's Singed, so he'll probably be fine. So I send my Leona over just to make sure nobody's coming. Ward, just so we can try to take this tower really quickly before anybody comes. And it does look like we're going to be able to get it. And now that I've destroyed the tower, I think I'm going to get the rest of this farm, and then we're going to take off. Shyvana's able to get the mid tower. So this is the point in the game where if you have that advantage, you really want to press it. You really want to take as many towers as humanly possible. And I know there's some strategy at the beginning of the game to not taking the tower right away, denying your opponent CS, and that's fine. That's all well and good. But when it comes down to it getting later in the game, like right now we're at the 20-minute mark, if you have that advantage, you want to start pressing it. You want to start taking towers. You want to deny them vision. You want to have more map control. And when they don't know where you are, it's a problem for them. So here I see Zed trying to take the tower. And, I'm just going to put a little bit of damage onto him just to... And then, of course, Ahri lands a great charm, and she's able to pick up the kill on that. And I'm able to get an assist. So I noticed that, I've taken 2 towers in my lane, so what I'm going to try to do is come to the middle lane and take the second mid turret, the second tier mid turret. That'll be the easiest turret for me to take, because if I was to keep pushing up and try to take the inhibitor turret, Riven would obviously come and who, you know, obviously Vayne's going to be there, Zyra. So try to take him off guard by coming to take the mid turret. Now, unfortunately, I wasn't able to get it, but I'm just going to head back to the bot lane and farm it up. So it looks like Olaf's coming down and Zed. So this is good for me, because in most games, and I see Zed go in here, and I thought about going in there, and I decided to back off. And smart move, because, you know, even though I don't think he was very fed this game. What is he? Oh, he's 3-1, so he is pretty strong. So I don't, as an ADC, without any backup, I definitely don't want to take him on. Olaf tries to come after me, and Leona gets a good lockdown, and I'm able to burst him down. Now she's going after Zed here, and I'm wondering if she's going to be okay. Now Zed tries to kill me. Unfortunately, I have to bury her. That wasn't a very smart move on my part. I should have just stayed out of that fight. Because Zed's very good at bursting down squishy targets. Now, Graves is not as squishy as most ADCs, and I do like to build him with a little bit of health. A lot of times I'll get a frozen mallet, so he can get that slow, get some health, and some more attack damage. But Graves' passive, True Grit, it definitely makes him a little bit more tanky. So in lane, he can definitely be a bully. And as you saw earlier in the game, I wasn't taking very much damage, and that's great, because, and that's why Graves is so great against Vayne, is because at the beginning of the game, her damage is not great. I'm not going to say it's horrible, but against someone like Graves, who has that passive, she's not going to be doing much damage. So we're just going to try to push our lane out. Just keep putting the pressure on. And as you can see, all 4 of them are coming. Or, well, okay, maybe they're not. I know they do come eventually, but I decided to back off, because I do realize that right now I'm the #1 target. I'm the only real person in this game that's doing, you know, awesome. I mean, Shyvana's doing okay. Ahri's doing terrible. But I know that I'm a big target. So right there, I use my Q, my ult, and I'm just able to burst them down really quickly, and that just shows you. I mean, Graves' burst is pretty insane. So off that, we're able to take the dragon, snowball our lead even further, and I jump to 8-0 from getting that double kill. So that's really good for me. You know, my next back, I'm going to be able to get, I don't know, a good item, whatever item I want. And Leona just lands a great ultimate. I'm able to burst down Vayne really fast. And that just shows you Graves' burst potential. It gets, if he gets behind, his burst potential can be pretty terrible, because he does rely on building that damage. So and Graves is very item reliant. Maybe not so much at the beginning of the game, but once it starts to hit 15 minutes, 20 minutes, if you don't have that Bloodthirster, if you don't have that pure AD, your burst potential is going to be severely limited. So here I see a bunch of them clustering in mid lane, so I decide, okay, let's just push this up and try to take the tower. And you can see them slowly moving off towards me. I see they're moving around, so I decide to back off. And then I see Leona land a good stun swipe. I figured go and put some damage on him. Why not? Unfortunately for me, Zed did come around the side. He uses his Blade of the Rune King on me. He uses his ultimate on me. Just blows everything he has to kill me. But the great thing about this is, if you watch, our team's able to clean it up fairly well. I think they do get the ace actually right here. So for killing me, their entire team died. And because of that, we were able to close out the game. I think they actually end up surrendering this game. We'll have to see. But that's just a little Graves ADC gameplay for you. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, feel free to leave a like or a comment below. Tell me what you thought. If you have any constructive criticism, feel free to let that fly too. So that's Graves ADC, and that's why he destroys Vayne. You guys have a good one. I'll see you on the next one.